Okay, good morning guys. So this is the first step to your independent assignment today. So please make sure that you are watching this video and that you walk through the entire video with me, because I am going to make sure to give you some good information. So as I'm walking you through this, make sure that you have your assignment open. That can be found where it says click here to access today's assignment. So make sure you open that up, make a copy of it. Taking a little while. That's alright. There we go. Okay, and then here is today your assignment for today. So yesterday we talked about tough questions. We talked about how, authors, often use tough questions in fairly, straightforward ways. They want the main character, is trying to figure something out about himself or about another person. But as we talked about yesterday, these tough questions are questions that, may not have the most obvious answer. So these are used to show us internal conflict, which are kind of the deep problems that worry a character. They often let the character share that conflict by having him or her share some difficult questions. He might be asking himself the question, or he might ask a friend. And when we see a tough question, we should ask ourselves, what does this question make me wonder about? So we're going to take a look at how this works in writing. So in front of you, you have an excerpt from a book called A Long Walk to Water. This is a book about what happens to an 11-year-old who lives in Sudan during a time in which rebels are raiding villages. In a scene early in the novel, 11-year-old Salva had become separated from the rest of his family after rebels have attacked his small village, and he's now alone and scared and running. You should have this in front of you. If you don't, please open it so you know what I'm talking about. So follow along as I read aloud. And remember, we're looking for tough questions. So Salva lowered his head and ran. He ran until he could not run anymore. Then he walked for hours, until the sun was nearly gone from the sky. Other people were walking too. There were so many of them that they couldn't all be from the school village. They must have come from the whole area. As Salva walked, the same thoughts kept going through his head, in rhythm with his steps. Where are we going? Where is my family? When will I see them again? So let's stop here, because we obviously see several tough questions. So I'm going to highlight mine. You need to do the same, because these 3 tough questions are something we're going to come back to and think about. So we've got, where are we going? Where is my family? When will I see them again? For an 11-year-old boy, these are obviously difficult questions. When the author shows me the difficult question that a character is considering, I want to stop and think about those questions. They show me the conflicts, the problems that the character is worried about. I want to ask myself, what do these questions make me wonder about? So I'm literally going to add a comment and write this question. What do these questions make me wonder about? And again, like I said yesterday, these can be personal connections you're making, or they can be, inferences about the text. It can really be either one. So as I think about Salva's difficult questions and ask myself what they make me wonder about, I wonder if I start to think, I wonder if I could have survived without knowing where my family was, or even if they were still alive. I also wonder how do the people he is with going to react to whatever is going on here? They're in a desperate circumstances, so I wonder if they'll help, or if they'll just ignore the small child. So even if, even in this just the beginning piece, we have so many questions and so many things to wonder about. So these tough questions really help us, think about our reading in a different way. So let's read on. We're going to skip ahead in the story to a point where Salva, who has been on his own for a while, finds a small group of people who are also trying to survive. Sure enough, there were now 3 women giving water to the men on the ground. Like a miracle, the small amounts of water revived them. They were able to stagger to their feet and join the group as the walking continued. But their 5 dead companions were left behind. There were no tools with which to dig, and besides, burying the dead men would have taken too much time. Salva tried not to look as he walked past the bodies, but his eyes were drawn in their direction. He knew what would happen. Vultures would find the bodies and strip them of their rotting flesh until only the bones remained. He felt sick as the thought of those men first dying in such a horrible way, and then having even their corpses ravaged. If he were older and stronger, would he have given water to those men, or would he, like most of the group, have kept his water for himself? Obviously the tough question here is, would he have given water to those men, or would he, like most of the group, have kept the water to himself? So he's now questioning, what kind of person he would be if he was given an opportunity to help. So again, whenever we see this, we want to make sure we're asking, what do these questions make me wonder about? And so I want you to think about, what does it make you wonder about? What does it make you wonder about the character? What does it make you wonder about yourself? So you might, start off by saying, like, I wonder, or if he is, struggling with whether or not to be selfish. You might even say, I wonder what I would do in that situation. Things like that. And, we talked about this yesterday, but this question is, very personal. So it's not what it makes me wonder about, it's what it makes you wonder about. And so if you have something else to add, please, add it as I'm talking. So let's continue reading this last section. I am alone now. I am all that is left of my family. His father, who had sent Salva to school, brought him treats like mangoes, trusted him to take care of the herd. His mother, always ready with food and milk and a soft hand to stroke Salva's head. His brothers and sisters, whom he had laughed with and played with and looked after. He would never see them again. How can I go on without them? But how can I not go on? They would want me to survive, to grow up and make something of my life, to honor their memories. So take a few minutes now to think about the tough questions you noticed and your thoughts about the anchor question, what do these questions make me wonder about? And then after you've thought about it, I want you to go down here and I want you to write out all of the questions that show up in the story. What is the question? And then I want you to respond, what does this make me wonder about? And then the last one is, what does it tell me about this character? So the first question we see is, where are we going? So I would write that there. Where are we going? And you're literally going to write the question. What does it make me wonder about? This makes me wonder about, and then you would fill that in. What does it tell me about the character? This question tells me that the character what? Then you'd fill in that in. So make sure you're writing using complete sentences, and you need to do that for every single question, at least 5 questions. If you need more help, please send me a message on Canvas. This assignment is due tonight at 11:59, so make sure you do it and let me know if you have any questions.